Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in this episode of the skirt edit series, I'm going to show you how to finalize your patterns for an A-line skirt. So for this video, you will need your A-line skirt pattern or a skirt block. So to start, I'm going to alter my skirt pattern into that A-line skirt shape. And this is just going to be a quick run through. So if you want a more in-depth video, I'll link my tutorial for that down below. So to start, I'm going to divide my skirt block into 3 sections. So to do this, I'm going to measure the waist and then divide it by 3. So now I'm going to measure that existing dart and I'm going to divide it into those 2 lines. And this dart's basically going to disappear into the flare of the skirt later. So on the back pattern, I'm going to draw 2 lines straight down from the darts down to the hem of the skirt. So from here, I'm going to be reducing the darts by 1 centimetre each. And then midway between those 2 darts, I'm going to draw in a new dart 2 centimetres wide. So now I'm going to cut out both patterns so that I can create that A-line skirt shape. To do this, I'm cutting up those lines that I've drawn in on both the back and the front of the skirt until I reach the bottom of the darts. So to open the skirt, we're going to have to close the darts over and just keep them closed using a bit of tape. But now you can actually see that A-line skirt shape forming. So once that is done, I'm going to now trace that skirt onto a new sheet of paper. So once traced, I'm going to be adding 2.5 centimetres to the side seam at the hem. And this is just going to give that skirt a little bit of extra flare. So now go ahead and just mark in all your information. So now I'm going to repeat the same process again for the back of the skirt. So for this skirt, I'm going to be adding a 4 centimetre waistband. So you need to take this measurement into account for your zip. So what I did was I measured 4 centimetres above my waistline, right down the full length of my zip and marked it in on the centre back seam. So now it's time to add the seam allowance. So for the skirt, you're going to be adding a 4 centimetre hem allowance. But again, this is up to you and your preference. So for the side seams and the waist, I'm going to be adding 1 centimetre seam allowance. Again, this all depends on your preference. For example, if you're doing a French seam, you might want to add that little bit more. So for the front pattern, we don't need to actually add seam allowance to the centre front because this is going to be cut on the fold. So moving to the back, like the front again, you're going to add the 4 centimetre hem allowance. And then for the side seam, the waist and the centre back seam, you're going to add 1 centimetre seam allowance. So going back to the front pattern, we're going to draw in our lining. So from the waist, you're going to measure down the chosen length for your lining. For mine, that was 50 centimetres. And then I used the hip line as a guide just to create a really even hemline. So for the line, I decided to not add that 2.5 centimetre flare just to keep with the original measurement. And for that, it's just to avoid too much bulking underneath the skirt. And then you're going to want to repeat this whole process for the back of the skirt to get the lining. So once that's done, we need to trace out both of the lining patterns onto a new sheet using a tracing wheel. And when it's all traced out, don't forget to mark in all your information. So like the skirt pattern, you're going to add 1 centimetre seam allowance to the waist and the side seams of the front pattern and your 4 centimetre hem allowance. So when tracing out the back line, don't forget to mark in that dart as well, because it's easily forgotten. And again, like the skirt patterns, you're going to add your 1 centimetre seam allowance to the waist, side seams and the centre back. And then don't forget your 4 centimetre hem allowance. So once all the pattern information is written out, you can go ahead and cut out your pattern pieces. And lastly then, you need to make sure that you mark in all your notches. So now you should have a front skirt pattern, a front skirt lining pattern, a back skirt pattern and a back skirt lining pattern. So the last pattern piece that we're going to need is the waistband. And again, I have a much more in-depth video which I'll link below. So I'm simply drawing a straight line across the page and then marking in notch points using measurements that I've taken directly from the skirt pattern. So these notches are just going to help make it easier to sew the skirt and the waistband together. So each end of the waistband is going to be the centre back line because that's where we're going to be putting in the zip. So I have chosen to make my waistband 4 centimetres wide. So my pattern in total is going to be 8 centimetres because the waistband will be folded over. So make sure you mark in all your information as well. So lastly, you need to add a 1 centimetre seam allowance the whole way around your pattern. And once that's done, you can go ahead and cut your pattern out. Again, make sure you don't forget your notches as these are extremely important. And now that's all your patterns ready for the next stage, which is cutting out your fabric. So in the next video, that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do, is to cut out the fabric and then to sew all the pieces together to create your finished skirt. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit that like button as it really helps support my channel, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so that you're notified every time I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys!